McLaren is the first team to launch its 2021 Formula 1 car. The McLaren MCL 35M uses the same chassis designation as last year's car, but with the M suffix added thanks to the switch from Renault to Mercedes engines. It's hoped the change of engine supplier will provide Lando Norris and new signing Daniel Ricciardo with an even more competitive package than last year's car. McLaren is the only team switching engine supplier this year, so the changes are focused on accommodating the very different power unit. This means adapting the monocoque thanks to the different architecture of the Mercedes engine that's bolted to it. There are some unavoidable compromises that partly offset the performance gain of having F1's strongest engine package. The McLaren MCL 35M will hit the track at Silverstone on Tuesday, with the second of its two 100km promotional days taking place 2 days later. Although it has already run on a full car dyno, this will give the team the chance to ensure it's on top of its Mercedes engine package before heading to pre-season testing in Bahrain. With the rules minimising car changes from 2020 to 21, it's no surprise that the front of the car is basically the same as last year. The front wing is the inboard loaded design generating outwash around the front tyres, but as always with launches, that's a bolt-on part that will certainly be changed. The same can be said of the very familiar bargeboard package. But further back, there are some hints of the extent of the changes made by McLaren. The sidepod profile has changed, seemingly a little narrower lower down, but with the bodywork less compact higher up. This is a little more similar to what we saw from Mercedes last year, which is no surprise given it's shrouding the same engine installation. You can also see gill-like cooling intakes just behind the cockpit, which McLaren didn't run last year. That doesn't necessarily reflect the need for more cooling, merely that the different configuration of the Mercedes, with its split turbo with the compressor at one end of the engine and the turbine at the other, rather than combined, as they are with the Renault, requires very different cooling pathways. The airbox intake shape has also been modified, which again will be to better suit the characteristics of the Mercedes power unit. This is also the first time we've seen a version of the new floor regulations for 2021. Conceived to prevent downforce levels from overloading the tyres, with an initial 10% reduction in downforce, but teams expected to claw back that loss this year, possibly by as early as the start of the season, what McLaren has shown is a very basic version. Primitive, as the race's technical expert Gary Anderson puts it. But Anderson also suggests that the changes limiting the aero performance might prove to be to McLaren's benefit, helping it to achieve better consistency between high-speed and low-speed corner aerodynamic balance. Given pre-season testing, which starts on March the 12th, is almost a month away, it's perhaps no surprise McLaren is keeping its cards very close to its chest. While mating a car originally built for a Renault engine to the Mercedes power unit has been McLaren's priority, with the aerodynamics largely remaining free to upgrade this year, it's still a big test of the team's development capabilities. Last year, McLaren technical director James Key admitted the team had only been 50% successful in tackling its weaknesses of 2019, with a car that featured some new aerodynamic concepts, including a change of the nose that was introduced during the season that has been carried over this year. The 2020 car was strong in medium and high-speed corners and under braking at tracks like Monza, but proved inconsistent in slower corners and struggled when it was windy. Both McLaren drivers suggested last year's car was particularly tricky to drive on the limit, although it was usually strong in race conditions. If the MCL 35M has retained last year's strengths, but improved on the weak points, as well as being less on a knife edge in qualifying, then there are gains to be made. Team principal Andreas Seidel is equivocal on McLaren's championship position target for this year, stressing that the focus is on closing the performance gap to pace-setting Mercedes, given how competitive that midfield pack is. Now this might sound conservative, but it's realistic given the opposition McLaren faces this season, and the performance relative to the front is always the most accurate measure of a team's true level. McLaren has made dramatic progress in recent seasons, since its nadir in 2017 and 2018, when it parted company with engine supplier Honda, but after switching to Renault power, realised that it had massive weaknesses as a team. Those struggles led to major changes, with Andreas Seidel recruited from Porsche as team principal. This led to significant investment in infrastructure projects that the team has yet to feel the full benefits of, thanks to the long lead time for projects such as the wind tunnel and new driver-in-loop simulator. It has also been working on bolstering its production capabilities, which means new aerodynamic parts can be manufactured more quickly. In 2019 and 20, McLaren made enormous progress and finished third in last year's Constructors' Championship. That's the first time it's finished in the top 3 since 2012. With its immediate financial problems of 2020 resolved thanks to new investment from MSP Sports Capital, the future looks bright. The key question is whether the McLaren MCL 35M will be able to hang on to third place given the unavoidable compromises of its creation. Let us know in the comments what you think of the new car and where you expect McLaren to finish this season. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe to the race and hit the notifications bell so you don't miss any of our F1 2021 launch videos.